Welcome to our deep dive on the critical entry date and how timing your arrival to the United States can affect whether you receive a conditional 2-year green card or a 10-year permanent one. Today we will explain the difference between County Route 1 and IR1, why the admission date at the border matters more than the visa label, and how strategic planning can save you time, money, and stress. Let's get started. Here is our plan. First, we will clarify the difference between County Route 1 and IR1. Next, we will outline the 2-year marriage rule. Then, we will explore why the date of admission at the U.S. port of entry controls your classification. After that, we will provide strategic timing tips and the documentation you should carry. We will also cover costs, risks, and common pitfalls, followed by quick quizzes to test your understanding. Finally, we will wrap up with key takeaways and next steps. Before we proceed, please note this is general information and not legal advice. Immigration policies and practices can change, and individual cases vary. For personalized guidance, consult a qualified immigration attorney or accredited representative. Nothing here creates an attorney-client relationship. County Route 1 stands for Conditional Resident for spouses who have been married for less than 2 years at the time they are admitted to the United States. An individual admitted as County Route 1 receives a 2-year conditional green card and must later file Form I-751 to remove conditions. IR1 stands for Immediate Relative for spouses who have been married for at least 2 years at the time of admission. And IR1 generally receives a 10-year green card upon production. The legal trigger is the duration of marriage at the moment of admission to the United States, not merely the date the visa was issued at the consulate. The pivotal rule is that the period of marriage is measured at the moment you are admitted by Customs and Border Protection at a U.S. port of entry. The consular visa label may say County Route 1 if you were under 2 years when the visa was issued. However, if your second wedding anniversary has occurred before your actual entry to the United States, CBP systems commonly process your classification as IR1. Therefore, the simplest strategy is to plan your arrival after your 2-year anniversary to potentially avoid conditional residency and the later I-751 process. The class of admission, as reflected in your I-94 record, is what controls for classification purposes. Even if the visa label in your passport states County Route 1, CBP, determines the class at the time of entry. If you have crossed the 2-year mark before admission, your I-94 may show IR1. Later, when the card is produced, it typically aligns with that admitted classification, and you receive a 10-year card. This is why the admission date, not the visa issuance date or interview date, is decisive. To plan effectively, first, confirm your exact wedding date and compute the 2-year anniversary precisely. Next, schedule your travel to arrive after that anniversary, leaving room for potential airline delays or cancellations. Bring your original or certified marriage certificate and reasonable proof of a bona fide relationship. At the port of entry, answer all questions truthfully and do not request a specific code. CBP officers will apply the classification based on your admission date and records. After you are admitted, look up your I-94 online to verify the class of admission. If you see a classification that appears inconsistent with your timing, consult a qualified attorney right away. On the left, CR1 results in a 2-year conditional card and requires the filing of Form I-751 later, which involves additional cost, time, and evidence. On the right, IR1 yields a 10-year card from the outset, eliminating the need for the I-751 and reducing long-term administrative burdens. The distinction stems from whether you have reached 2 years of marriage at the time of admission. This table summarizes expected differences. Both County Route 1 and IR1 use the same underlying consular process. After entry, only the County Route 1 path requires the later I-751 filing to remove conditions. That stage involves additional government fees and possibly legal fees, as well as time to prepare and wait for adjudication. It also requires significant joint evidence, such as financial documents, cohabitation proof, and more. The IR1 path avoids that entirely, reducing future costs and effort. There are several common pitfalls. First, travelers sometimes arrive before their anniversary due to flight changes or delays, which can affect classification. Second, many assume the visa label in the passport is controlling. It is not. The admission date controls. Third, people forget to verify the I-94 classification after entry. Fourth, Travelers cut their timing too close to the anniversary. It is safer to arrive with a buffer. Fifth, some fail to carry adequate documentation of their marriage and relationship history. Lastly, applicants sometimes confuse the consular interview date, visa issuance date, or medical date with the controlling date. None of those control the classification at admission. This timeline charts the major milestones. Starting at the wedding day, some months later you attend the consular interview and receive your visa. Your 2-year anniversary arrives 24 months after the wedding. You should schedule your U.S. entry after the anniversary to trigger IR1 classification. Weeks after admission, the green card is typically produced based on the class recorded at entry. Incorporate a buffer of several days after the anniversary to mitigate unexpected travel disruptions. Quiz time. Which date usually controls whether you are classified as County Route 1 or IR1? Option A, the consular interview date. Option B, the visa issuance date printed on the passport sticker. Option C, the CBP admission date at the U.S. port of entry. Option D, the date the medical exam was completed. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is the CBP admission date at the U.S. port of entry. That is the operative moment for determining whether you are under 2 years of marriage or have reached the 2-year mark. The I-94 record should reflect that classification. Second quiz. If your passport shows a County Route 1 visa but you enter the United States 1 day after your 2-year anniversary, what commonly happens? Option A. You must still receive a 2-year card because the visa says County Route 1. Option B. CBP will deny entry for mismatch. Option C. The system often admits you as IR1 and you later receive a 10-year card. Option D. You will need to re-interview at the consulate. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The common outcome is that the system admits you as IR1 and the produced card is a 10-year permanent resident card. The visa label is not controlling. The marriage duration at the moment of admission typically is. A few cautions are important. Travel disruptions can undermine carefully planned dates, so maintain a buffer and flexible arrangements. Although the rule is straightforward, officer discretion and system nuances exist, so remain truthful and calm. Bring clear documentation of your marriage date and ongoing relationship. Never misrepresent facts or attempt to manipulate records. If you discover a classification that appears inconsistent after entry, consult an attorney promptly to discuss options. At the port of entry, carry your certified marriage certificate and a copy, government-issued photo IDs and your passport, and reasonable evidence of an ongoing bona fide relationship, such as joint financial statements, lease agreements, insurance documents, photos, or travel itineraries. Keep contact information for your petitioner and any legal representative. A printed itinerary that clearly shows your post-anniversary arrival date can also be helpful if questions arise. Here is a quick reference. The controlling moment is the CBP admission date. To aim for IR1, enter after the 2-year anniversary. After entry, double-check your I-94 class of admission online. Avoid cutting it too close to the anniversary. If you are unsure about any detail, consult a qualified immigration attorney. This diagram reiterates the central logic. The marriage duration at the exact time of entry points toward either County Route 1 or IR1. The visa label from the consulate is informative but not controlling. The I-94 class of admission established at entry typically carries through to the green card that is later produced. To summarize the key points, the admission date determines whether you are classified as County Route 1 or IR1. Aim to enter after your 2-year anniversary to qualify for IR1. Verify your I-94 class after entry. Carry proof of your marriage and ongoing relationship. Build a timing buffer to account for unexpected disruptions. Consult a professional if your case has complexities. In summary, timing is powerful. 1 day can be the difference between receiving a 2-year conditional card and a 10-year card. Even if your consular label shows County Route 1, CBP admission classification can be IR1 if your anniversary is passed. Strategic and honest planning can save substantial time, money, and stress in the future. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. In the comments, let us know your anniversary date and how you are planning your timing. Your experiences can help others in the community.